Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Lions of the Desert podcast. I'm Shoeshine Mike. We've got a lot of Detroit news. Plenty going on in sports in Detroit. I mean, just plenty of it going on. The Pistons doing really well, got the playoff spot. The Lions have the big draft coming up. I want to go through the free agency signings. Now, I'd like to do that. The free agency signings, and I also like to my mock my mock draft. I got the picks as far as I'm concerned. So we got the picks, we got the time. Let's have some fun. First and foremost, I want to talk about my subscribers and give them a shout out. First off, the number one sponsor of my podcast, the number one place we all have fun, the Detroit Coney Grill, 6953 North Hayden Road, just south of Indian Bend. And I do all the podcast play by plays of the Detroit Lions games during the regular season. And that is just, um, okay, let's try this again. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Pardon me, here we are. I think we got the sound going now. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. I'm Shoeshine Mike. Lions of the Desert is on right now. I've got plenty of news about Detroit sports. I'm going to talk about the Pistons, of course, and their miraculous turnaround of a team. Miraculous turnaround of a team and the way the game's been going now because we made the playoffs. We'll talk about that. And I also want my Lions. I always love my Lions and talk about them. I want to go through each of the free agency signings and then my mock draft. I'm going for all our picks in the mock draft, and I think of course, I think they all make sense. That's just my conjecture. It's been very good to have you all. I have plenty of subscribers. I like to give them shout outs every broadcast that we have podcast. I got to remember. Now you also catch me every Saturday morning on the Shoeshine Mike Radio Hour. It's on regular radio. It's on AM 1100 KFNX, the Pulse of Arizona, and always have a great time on that show. We talk about other things than sports, but we yesterday did the top 5 Val Kilmer movies that we all liked, right? Myself and my guests, and number one for me was always Tombstone. That's all there's to it. Was Tombstone. I put Heat at number 2 because I think Heat was his best movie. I feel that the chemistry between him and Nicole Kidman was fantastic, but Tombstone was his best performance. No one's going to do Doc Holliday in the history of cowboy movies again that does Doc Holliday like Val Kilmer did. We saw him in plenty of other movies, and how can you beat that? It was just so great. Now, what I'd like to do, we have plenty of subscribers here on Lions of the Desert podcast. As you can see, I'm looking in the background a little bit. I'm watching every Sunday during football season's off. I put on the red zone just because I miss football. And today we got the Lions and the Cowboys in week number 6. And it was that horrible week when Aiden Hutchinson got injured. I've got a great pick in the draft. First pick, number 28, of an edge rusher who I really think will complement him perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Okay. Now, sponsors of our show. Number 1, the Detroit Coney Grill, 6953 North Hayden in Scottsdale, beautiful downtown Scottsdale, wherever downtown is, and just short of Indian Bend. Every Sunday during football season, including preseason and playoffs, because I know we'll make them again, I will be doing a play-by-play. If you haven't been, we have incredible amounts of Lions fans there, and we have a really, really good time. Lots of cheers. If the Lions win, there's always shots of Honolulu Blues at the end of the game, and we sing the Lions fight song, and we do it at the top of our voices and just have a great time. The Detroit Coney Grill, 6953 North Hayden Road. Now, if you ever want to order the great food they have there, including Detroit pan style, Detroit pizza, right? Perfectly 4 slices, perfect for one person. The Coney dogs, of course. Fago beverages. I do rock and rye all the time. I love my rock and rye. Verner's ginger ale, better made potato chips. How can you beat it? A Detroit place. And when you walk in, big map of the state of Michigan. Grab a straight pen, punch it in where you're from, and we love all of that. A lot around Detroit, but quite a few Upper Peninsula, quite a few Western Michigan people come in here too. Anybody that's from the big state of the blue, we welcome you. I'll do one quick shout out to my sister Ellie. She lives up right by the Mackinac Bridge, and they had that horrible ice storm. We pray for you down here, and if there's ever a reason to move to Arizona, that weather up there that you just had, that storm with trees falling, Gaylord is just a mess. Um, Mackinac City, playing places, Petoskey, Sheboygan, and Indian River, where my sister Ellie lives, and she called the show yesterday and talked about the carnage and the crazy, but she also talked about the fellowship of neighbors, right? And anybody who had a chainsaw was out. Anybody who had a chainsaw was out and trying to help people get out of the mess that it was. They closed the Mackinac Bridge because of the ice storm, and the bridge was totally frozen. I couldn't believe it, all the ice on it. And then they had to keep it closed an extra day or two because of the falling ice chunks that were coming from the top of the bridge. That's a 5 mile bridge between the lower and upper peninsula of Michigan and the Upers and the regulars. And it was just a bad storm. And our prayers are all out with you back home. Still getting some storms down in southeastern Michigan, but nothing like we saw up there in the UP and the upper half of the lower peninsula. So Detroit Coney Grill. I also have JVN Cleaning. Okay, and Amy Quintera has her own little company there, and they clean all residential. Excuse me. They don't want live-ins. They won't clean where people live in. But if you want a B&B, car dealership, your factory, your store, if you're a small business owner, if you want it nice and cleaned up on a good regular basis, right? And she just does an outstanding job. I know her customers. They've all been very, very happy with her. And you can get the JVN Cleaning by calling Amy Quintana at 480-845-2320. 480-845-2320. We have had more fun with everything like that. So let's get into work. We got some work to do here. I'll tell you what. I'm going to open with. Sometimes I don't put them in the order that they're recommended. May I do just one more shout out? QB Development. QB standing for Quality Builders. Okay, they're licensed, bonded, and insured. KBI licensed, residential and commercial. And you give them a call. This is a wonderful. I love this company. It's a wonderful faith-based company. Barty and Brad are running around taking care of it beautifully. You give them a call, set up an appointment if need be, call them to your house if need be. They're right there on the ball. They do the most excellent work you've ever seen. If you go to their offices, you will see just exactly how they do. And give them a call though. First, give them a call. Find out everything you need to know to set up estimates, what have you. Barty and Brad are very happy to come visit you and make wherever you live or where you want to live look really fantastic. We'll be more about QB development as we go along. All my companies, all my commercial subscribers are very faith-based companies, as I'm a faith-based podcaster. Okay, the one of the most fun when we talk about that, we'll be doing the Lions games and the early games, which come on at 10. Okay, during the first part of the season because of the time change. David Nazier, who's just the man over there. I call him the owner and head busboy over there because he does not hesitate to come out and work. And that's what you always love in a manager when they're in a restaurant style thing. So, but he'll come in, the whole family will come in, coming back from church, off with the church clothes, on with an apron, and we got work to do. And I love their methods, and all my love goes to that family. I just adore them. Okay, now let's get to work. I'm going to start out now with the Final Four yesterday. I never had so much fun. The first game, okay, Florida and Auburn. Auburn did not play as well as I thought they would. They lost to Florida. And 79-73. They had every chance in the world to win that game, and they didn't do it. The last 2 minutes are crazy. But nothing was as crazy as the Houston Duke game last night. I could not believe all that. Cooper Flagg, it's his freshman season at Duke. He's going to be a star. There's no two ways about that. But he's going to be a star. But they just fell short. He missed 2 shots in the final few seconds there, and that last one off the rim coming back to him gave the game to Houston. But it was just fought. Houston was down. Houston was down 10 points, and they went on an 11-1 run. at the right time at the end of the game, and they've got it. So it's Houston, it's Florida tomorrow night, and Monday at 5:50, San Antonio, Florida, Houston. Florida has a 51% chance to win, and I'm going to call my friend Cole, and I'm going to say, hey, let's go for it. I'll take Florida. I'll take Florida. They looked masterful. Those, just looked masterful yesterday. Their defense is just outstanding. So we got the final two, the championship game tomorrow night. Um, Tomorrow night, 5:50, and be on everywhere. Probably ESPN, CBS, everybody who's got it. And Florida, 51 chance point to win. I could see that going on. I could see the fun in that going on. Now, here we are. We're going to talk about the Lions. Now, the first thing I'd like to talk about is the free agency signings. And all good signings, because they signed like mostly a lot of the people back that we already had. So many people are upset that Jazarius Smith is gone, but there's still a chance to sign him. No one's picked him up from free agency yet. All right. So I think they're playing that kind of slow move. In Brad Holmes, I trust. I truly do. I don't know what goes on in the general manager's mind. He's got a lot of people he has to resign. Hutch is up for a contract. Jameson Williams is up for another contract too. So the city of Detroit will be waiting for that. The city is beautiful right now. They're doing more developments. It's just getting to be so cool to live in Detroit now. People are happy living there, and my old neighborhood, which was devastated by years of nothing, has just been totally almost restored. Built new housing, everything's being torn down. I grew up Parkside Projects on the east side, Warren Connor area, and they're just torn. All those are being torn down. Huge new developments are being made. Chandler Park has a big sports dome they just finished for all the high schools in the area and the public and everybody. It is just changing. More recreation, more beauty, the city of Detroit. But let's get to those free agents. Now, my number one, I love the pick, DJ Reed from the New York Jets. This guy was like in the upper five of the ESPN 150 free agents to get. And the part that got me the most, Carlton Davis III went on to the New York Jets. All right. And he signed a 3-year contract, $60 million. They're enraptured with him, but he has a habit of injury. DJ Reed hasn't been injured in his entire 6 years. He has gone on to be a very prolific cornerback, a very solid cornerback. His tackles, and people don't throw to him. And that's how we want it, because you'll have Terrion Arnold, and he will be healed. He'll be healed and ready to play. And the other part is, too, cornerbacks got it better when the front is good. But you've got a couple of safeties in Detroit that are off the map. Kirby Joseph led the league with 10 interceptions last year. Brian Branch, need I say more? He's just the man of the hour there. How can you beat that? Now, Ernie Rickenshaw, who we got from Missouri last year in the draft, can come out and kind of get in there somehow, right? Maybe trade up one of the safeties. But if you can have Brian Branch as a free safety or as a nickelback, pay dirt is to be had. I don't see it really. I don't see any really big changes. Maybe left guard. No, I can't really see some big ones. The offensive line will be entailed. That's in the draft I have coming up also. But on the whole, no, they're pretty good. Two incredible random running backs, right? Sonic and Knuckles there. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Jared Goff, he's got a new offensive coordinator, John Morton. I do not see huge changes coming from losing Ben Johnson to having John Morton. John Morton is very established. He and Campbell's worked together. I know he knows about Ben Johnson. Everybody knows about Ben Johnson, even the Chicago Bears. But I think you'll see I wouldn't say a big change. I know it affects him, but I'm pretty sure that with the lineup he has, because you have the receivers, I've got a good pick on receiver too in the draft here. You'll see the receivers, and they re-signed Tim Patrick, which I thought was huge. If anything, for depth. Greg Reynolds is still there, just for depth reasons. But you know that it's St. Brown and Jameson Williams, who has a big contract coming up. I think they hit their extension on him. So he's there for the 5 years, and he has just changed so much. Last year, he was outstanding. Jameson Williams outstanding. Even that loss against Washington, that run, that's the only play that I think Teddy Bridgewater had there, right? And I still kind of disagree with them bringing Jared Goff back too quickly in that game, and they should have let Bridgewater go for a few more. Can't change the past, even though I want to sometimes. But Jameson Williams has just turned into a great one. So DJ Reed at cornerback is awesome. Derek Barnes is re-signed as the linebacker. He has a habit of being in the right place at the right time. Just ask Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That interception to send Detroit to the playoffs against San Francisco last year was just short of nothing but wonderful, and that really was wonderful. Marcus Davenport is back 1 year, and tends to get a little injured too, but I think he's the edge rusher. I just have a feeling he's the edge rusher that will do. And my two first picks in my draft are edge rushers. So I think if they find a good edge rusher, he'll do that. He'll take care of that until one of the year happens. You have other people getting ready. Christian Mahogany is going to be playing left guard, and we just keep it going. But the trio, the main trio, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnell, Taylor Decker will be there, healthy and ready to go. Marcus Davenport, Anthony Pittman, Wayne State boy, went to Wayne State, signed a 1 year contract as a backup linebacker. That's a good call. You got Dan Skipper. I don't know how many 1 year contracts he signed with the Lions so far, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 or 6, but a big fan favorite ever since the Dallas game. You know, when the eligibles went wrong, we lost that game, and it's the biggest error that refs have made in a long, long time. Very typical of Lions games. We go to Dallas, they find something to do. And pick on us and just give us the penalties. Anyway, we'll continue on. Dan Skipper, a fan favorite. Ray Lopez was picked up from the Cardinals. A defensive tackle, a very fierce Dan Campbell guy all the way, and a good call for 1 year. Coming off an injury, Brad Holmes' favorite, people coming off of injuries, but he seems like he'd be ready to rock and roll. Hoochie coo. You know, I kind of like that. Craig Reynolds, he's back. He's a fan favorite. Craig has been around quite a while, and he's just he's got the 1 year, and the big fan favorite. I'm glad he's back. Now, Trevor Nowitzki, he was a linebacker. He had 2 sacks last year when he had to go in. I'm pretty sure it was the Cowboys game. I know he had one. And then there was another one in there somewhere. But he comes in as a pretty prolific pass rusher linebacker. He loves rushing the pass. And so does Muhammad. And they look really good doing that. I really dug that. So I'm glad to see he is back there because I think he's a good player and he'll do very well. Then Tim Patrick, wide receiver. She's 3 touchdowns, solid wide receiver 3. The Packers game when he was scoring, he was getting the 2-point conversions. And he's good. But the blocking this guy does is insane. The blocking is just insane. You can't help but love it every bit. And it's just too cool. Just saw an interception by Brian Branch against Cowboys. And Muhammad, as I mentioned, he was a surprise off the bench. All right. And you had Muhammad. It was a big surprise. He only played 2 games, 11 tackles, 5 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks in just that short span of time. He did that in the Green Bay and Chicago games, and that was nothing but excellent. Now, they also re-signed Dorsey. And Dorsey is a cornerback, but he was also a great special teams man. And I could see him going through the changes there. He was a good cornerback, special teams, and when he does play, he plays pretty good. Makes a few mistakes, but he also makes enough plays that it's just you're kind of hard not to let him go somewhere else and be picked up. So the Lions, with good free agency signings, still time left. They can pick up an offensive guard. They can pick up another edge rush, Mr. Zazaria Smith, and we'll see what happens. I just hope that the world keeps it together there. All right, we'll check the mic. The mic is fine. All right. Now, I told you I had my draft picks. Okay? But before I do my draft picks, let me do this, please. Some more subscribers. Give him a call. Cole Alderman over at Arrowhead BMW. Now, he's the internet manager of Arrowhead BMW. So, arrowheadbmw.com. Type in Cole Louderman, Louderman, and or just ask for him if you give them a call down there, and he can help you through every process on the internet there is. And it's amazing to me at my age that we see. I'm 73. The changes in technology in my lifetime alone are nothing but incredible. Nothing but incredible. And phones and rockets and moons and computers and all this changed everything. And it's just cool to see. But buying a car on the internet's a possibility now. Go see, give Cole Otterman a phone call, set up an appointment if you want to come down and see him, or talk to him on the internet. That's what it's there for. 309-339-1844. 309-339-1844. Next, you got Russ Smith, one of their finer salesmen there, and a good friend of mine. I do all their shoes, and I shine shoes at car dealerships, and the boys are always there, and I really, really enjoy it. Russ Smith, a Jersey guy, but he's just the most no nonsense. Walk in there, flat out, ask for what you want, and Russ will deliver. He'll be right there and right on the entire tail. And very personable man, and you can tell he's been around a while and he's done his work because he knows the program. He's doing very, very well at it. Then I got Eric Barrera. Eric is business mellow. In other words, nowhere near pushy at all. Great customer rapport. Great customer rapport. And just loves talking to people. And he always looks good. He's one of those guys that could wear a 3-week-old shirt and still look one of those super looking guys that always look cool no matter what. And but he's also down to earth and cool, right? You just gotta love the guy. Eric Barrera is at 480-486-4270. And Eric is just worth the price of admission. Let's put it that way. That's pretty good stuff. I love him. I get along with him just fine. Now, Paul Kettner. Paul is the ultimate computer person. Paul knows everything about computers. He's younger, and I guess he was raised with them. And a lot of younger people have been, but Paul really deeply so. In the world of the car business, he's a go-to guy who will help you in any situation you need. A good salesperson, ask for Paul Kettner and give him a call first before you go see him, maybe make an appointment. And thank you, all of you, at Arrowhead BMW. They sponsor my regular radio show, too. Jason Decker, welcome to the Arrowhead BMW family, the new general manager. And so, Paul Kettner, say hello, give him a call, check out his sneaks. He just really has the sneaks. Really has the sneaks. So give Paul a shout out there and phone him up. 480-334-8878. 480-334-8878. And thank you, everybody at Arrowhead BMW, QB Development, Detroit Coney Island, JVN Cleaning, people who just take care of me and allow me to have this podcast, which not only am I proud, but very, very happy to do. Now, the 2025 draft, which will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't know how they're set up to do it. I don't think anybody will ever be as set up as Detroit was last year. 775,000 people to see the NFL draft in downtown Detroit, Michigan. March's Campus Park, Lafayette Park is there. All of downtown was just on fire and cordial and wonderful. If you get a chance to ever visit Detroit, do not miss the riverfront. It's 8 miles long now, and they're putting up a 30-acre playground for kids right on the river. It's just turned into the most beautiful city. The train station, Michigan train station, has been redone, remodeled in the original form. All the original tiles were found, everything. And they had a concert there for all Detroit talent when they were done with it. Downtown Detroit has turned into a beautiful place. They dealt with the problem of homelessness and crime, and the city is just excelling, totally excelling. My city, Detroit, Michigan. So thank you all, Arrowhead BMW and so on and so forth. Let's go to the draft. As we just mentioned, it'll be in Green Bay at number 28. Our first pick in the draft in round 1, James Pierce. He's a junior edge from Tennessee. Tennessee went as far as they did this year because this guy is an animal. I do not see a better matchup for Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of the ball. He's just Hutchinson and maybe his arms are an inch longer is like the only difference between them. They're both built. They're both 6'5", 6'6". They're both, over 200 pounds, 230, 240 pounds. And he's got the mean in him. He's got the mean in him. He's got the Brad Holm mean and the Dan Campbell style, right? Coming after you no matter what. I don't care if we're down by 30 points. I am coming after that quarterback, and you try and stop me. Now, look at that. You give me James Pierce, okay, on the edge, Aiden Hutchinson on the other edge. One of my favorite lines, Alim McNeill. He'll heal up. I don't know if he's going to make it back for spring training or week one, but they'll have him back as soon as possible. And if you ever see interviews with this guy, he's just the sweetest guy on earth. He's just so sweet, easygoing, just really nice. And then you have DJ Reader, also, and you have Lopez there, right? And you've got the people there for a good defensive tackle position. Your linebackers are still right intact because Alex Hamtramck's favorite cheese, Anzalone, and Jack Campbell in the middle there. Anthony Pittman will be there. I have a linebacker, of course, in the draft. I like to see go in there. And that defensive line will be just great. James Pierce is the pick. My number 2 pick is another edge, number 60, right? Joshua Stewart. He's an edge out of the University of Michigan. He's a blue. He's one of us, okay? And this guy is off the chart too. You look at James Pierce, 17 and a half sacks and 102 pressures. Joshua Stewart, 14 sacks, 66 pressures. Those are the guys you want. And it's not the sacks, it's the pressures. It's getting that guy out of that pocket and scaring him into making a bad throw, preferably to Kirby Joseph. Brian Branch? Anybody back there? That's what I would be because I look at that and 2 really good edges they can get. All right. Now, from North Carolina at number 102, I've got Willie Lampkin. I think he's very overlooked in this draft. This guy is an offensive guard and just a blocker and a half. I mean, he looks like Penei Sewell on the left tackle side. He played left tackle for North Carolina for 3 years and just looks the part. Just looks like he could be trained a little bit more. He's got some work to be done. But apparently he's doing such a good job that leave him alone. I like Willie Lampkin as our 3rd pick. Our number 4th pick, all right, Tony Pornalda, Pompiani, something like that. Anyway, wide receiver out of Colorado State. He's a Colorado State Ram. They were sitting there and they were doing a broadcast, and Mel Kiper looks at him and says, "This guy looks like the next Craig Reynolds. He looks that good to be next Craig Reynolds. He's big, he's lanky, a wonderful wide receiver 4. I'll still keep Tim Patrick at 3. Of course, Amon St. Brown, Jameson Williams 1 and 2. But I like the way I was watching a game, and I went ahead and watched one of the Colorado State games, and he had he had 19 receptions, 3 touchdowns. But you know what he does the best? He blocks. He blocks. So a tight end that blocks, a tight end that catches, that's the guy you want. And he's from Colorado State as a wide receiver. Got him a little mixed up there. That's Tony Horizon. Then Colin Packard. Now, Ole Miss had a good year last year. Ole Miss. And they have Colin Picota at tight end. And now we like the big tight ends. Yeah, 6'8". Yeah, big and can block. Oh, hell yeah. And lots of catches. So when you're looking at the tight ends now this year, we still, of course, have who's going to beat Laporta? I mean, you got Laporta and Brock. You've got those 2 good tight ends. Zilser didn't look all that good last year. James Mitchell. Get that 3rd tight end, and this is the one written in the book. Get Colin from Ole Miss, a kicker. A safety from Clemson. Always a good pick from Clemson is the safeties. You got P.J. Mickers, and he had, 6 interceptions, and they won't throw to him, but he had a very, very high stop the passer from getting the ball rate, and he blocks passes very, very well. I like him. And then my steal of the draft, I've watched this guy play. I watched Nebraska play a lot of games. Defensive end, Ty Robinson, I think is the steal of the draft. I do. I think he's going to turn into an Alim McNeill. He's going to turn into a ball-busting defensive tackle. And it just looks that way. And you got to have You got to have that nasty in you. And then defensive tackles, you got to be mean when you're playing ball. You got to be mean. Elaine McNeil goes after passers, goes after anybody that's coming near him. Running backs passer, but so does Ty Robinson. I've watched him over the years. Um, my co-host on the Shoeshine Mike Radio Hour, Chet Reynolds, had a nephew who was playing for Nebraska, so we were kind of watching Nebraska games. Ty stood out. Ty Robinson stood out and looked like just the star of the whole game. This is the guy we want, and it looks like Detroit could have a very, very good draft. Free agency is now there. I'm not talking trades. It doesn't surprise me, of course, if Brad Holmes makes a change. Last year we got Terry and Arnold moving up, and then but my favorite trade in this realm was Jameson Williams coming up from Minnesota's pick at number 12 and a wide receiver. And that was really, really a hot thing to do. Now, I'm going to take just a quick break and hang tight, and I'll be right back here. We just want to just be gone for just a second, and I'll be right back. Oh. Oh, all right.
Well, big news for us here on Fox. All right, so the Lions get the field goal. Let's do some forward progress presented by Visa. You want to talk about forward progress? The Baltimore Ravens know how to move forward 100-plus yards at a time when it comes to rushing the football. If you've been watching Red Zone for a long time, you remember back from 2018 to 2021, the Baltimore Ravens had 43 straight games with 100 or more yards rushing. Well, that streak ended, and they started a new streak. And this streak is active and still active after today's victory at home against the Washington Commanders. Another 100-plus yard rushing day. I mean, that helps when you have one of the great rushing quarterbacks of all time and one of the great running backs of this generation in King Henry running the football. 39 straight games with more than 100 yards rushing as a team for the Baltimore Ravens and counting. That's forward progress presented by Visa. Vegas, he gets the call, and he gets thrown down in the backfield by T.J. Watt. Check in with Evan Washburn.
And this defense making plays, but despite, as you mentioned, just being hit hard by injuries. And Robert Spillane, who you mentioned, spent some time in Pittsburgh, actually came up early in the week in Mike Tomlin's meeting to the team. He put Spillane's story up on the screen to let the guys know that we're stepping in, that this could be your story. You can make a name for yourself in this game, much like Robert Spillane did back in 2020. We were there, week 7. He met Derrick Henry in the hole.
Oh, yeah. That changed his career in many ways because it opened the eyes of people around the NFL. O'Connell feeds it to Bryant. First
down. Now let's see if I.
And a season high snaps, first of all, and then came on the field right in the hole. Remember, we asked Mike Tomlin before that game, what about Robert Spillane?
Restart. How do you restart at?
Great quote he gave us. Well, I know this about it. He is not unwilling to engage.
No.
Play with the run game. At the same time, I said earlier, it's just not necessarily their strength. So, yeah, some of those shorter passes.
Okay. And we're back. Part 2. Lands of the Desert podcast here from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. And like I said, I'm sorry for people up in Michigan because I wouldn't tell my sister yesterday when she called in. what the temperature was, here in Arizona right now. I don't want to tell her it was 65 and sunny and gorgeous out and all that other good stuff because they're going they're going through enough up there. They don't want to hear any more of that. Huh? Just too much fun there. Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, we did that already. Oh yeah, let's go here. Let's talk about the Pistons. The Detroit Pistons are in the playoffs. The Detroit Pistons had 14 wins last year. They have tripled that amount. They have played so well. And if J.D. Brickenstaff is not coach of the year right now, I don't know who the hell is. I don't know how you could pick it better. Motorcade Cunningham is back. His injuries are over. They played last night, and they didn't do all that really good. They lost to Minnesota. And just too much fun. And like I said, Motorcade is back. They're going to do well. I love them. And let's see, I think they're playing today. Schedule, they play tomorrow, and they're right up for it. So let's just enjoy and keep it going. I mean, because if the Pistons are doing that good, you can't help but love it. You just can't. So let's see here. I had more on here about that, but okay, that's it with the Pistons. I look at them now. The Tigers are playing right now, and I was just getting ready to look up what the score is right now. So we will see. It's bottom of the eighth, and it's 3-1 White Sox over the Tigers. So they're not doing too good today, but they've been playing very well. The scary Carpenter, 3 home runs already. Riley Green popping them over the wall there. Everybody looks good. The pitching staff, get them to settle down. And the Lions, once again, will make the playoffs. The Red Wings aren't doing all that good, folks. I really would like the Red Wings to do better. You get into that kind of spell. Now, there are 6 games left to play, and I don't know. I just next year in the playoffs, I'm figuring all that. So it's all good. I lost kind of my spot here, being the exuberant person that I am at times. And I hope that you do come down to Detroit Coney Grill and catch us live because it's the most fun on the earth that you can have. So the Pistons lost to Memphis. That's what it was. Motorcade Cunningham is back. They're making the playoffs now. I think they're the 5th or 6th seed, but there's enough games left to go. We'll let it sit out to the end of the year and see how they do. But I love it. They're 43, 45, the biggest turn in the NBA through the years, and just so good to see them and just rocking right along. But sometimes, Cade came back last night and we caught part of the game. And it wasn't up to his usual stuff. He's coming back from an injury, but he still scored 28 points, and scored 28 points. And is such a team leader that you can't help but love it. Ivy was out there playing too, and we just enjoyed it all. It's just a way. I love watching the Pistons play. They're playing with the big boys, and they're playing them good. When they beat Boston, they beat Cleveland. The 2 big leaders that everybody was talking about, and they beat them very, very well. So, Big and Staff, you just hang on there. You're the coach of the year, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, they're the 5th or 6th seed. I can't really figure it out. But they'll be playing as we go along, and we'll keep you up to date here on Lions of the Desert podcast. And as we get ready to talk about the Red Wings and finish up with the podcast, I have one more slew of folks to talk about. And this is at Chapman Hyundai. And Chapman Hyundai would just right down there. Hyundai's a very big seller right now. You have Sean Sakari and Sean Sakari's son, Sakari. The coolest kicks I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Sean is just an excellent salesman. He's just got a great appearance, but he knows everything inside and out. I hit him with some questions on it one time, and he just kind of giggles his way out of it, and it's just too much fun. So see Sean Sakari. He's the number 1 salesman there. 602-358-3206. You're in the market for a Hyundai? Give Sean a call. 602-358-3206. Now, they also have Dan McClure. Now, Dan's been around quite a while. Dan's an old car guy, not an old car guy, but he's been around the business quite a few years. and he's very straightforward and easygoing. He smiles a whole lot. And I always look over, and his customers always seem to really enjoy being with his presence. Easygoing, good guy. You got to love him. And then you got Maurice Membry. Now, Maurice is going to be on my regular radio show coming up soon because he's a professional wrestler. All right. And it's jiu-jitsu wrestling. And he submits to everybody. It looks like he's built like a brick. You know what? And it's got all that stuff with him, too. So, we've had a good show. Once again, thank you to all my people. It's just been wonderful. And I have two more shout outs I want to give because they're friends. Some people are friends, some are just good people. So let's go to VW, Chapman VW over there in Scottsdale Auto Show, right off the 101 and Indian School Road. Come right off the freeway, go right into the auto park. It's all set up. At VW, the ID4s, you have the electric cars, you have all the other, of course, the Beetle buses. Come on. All right. So you go there. Lester Perales. Lester speaks Spanish. So if anybody wants to just speak Spanish, you don't understand me, that's cool. Go see Lester. But give him a call first at 480-424-3560. 480-424-3560. And Nettie Davenport. Just a wonderful lady there. And you can't help but love her there at Chapman VW. So give her a call at 480-424-3560, and you will love them all. So, the podcast has been good. We're getting more and more things coming up. I'm going to be doing a live podcast from Detroit Coney Grill, 6953 North Hayden Road, just south of Indian Bend. And I'll be doing that, a live thing for the draft. I'm going to be there for the first round on a Thursday night, the 24th. Hang out, knock down some conies, have a good old time. And I'm going to have a good time. Now, I'll be back again this Thursday. And I think we'll have a lot more information coming up in the draft because it's getting closer and closer. The Lions, maybe some more free picks, but mostly concentrating on the Pistons and how far they're going to go in the playoffs. We'll also get into Michigan State spring games, which are coming up very, very soon. And so on and so forth. So full reports from Motor City. I love you, Detroit. I love you, subscribers, and all my good friends. Hit that subscribe if you like things. Any criticisms you have, just go in the chat. It's right there. Lions of the Desert podcast bids thee a fine Sunday. And it was a good time this morning at church. I had a good time. I always do. And I pray you have a good Sunday and relax. The week is here. Shine on, you crazy diamonds. Bye-bye.